with cherries going down in price at $1.99 a pound, I decided, and my cherry pitter broke. I had to go. This isn't the one I wanted. I really wanted the one that was a multiple, but this one will do. I got it at Crate and Barrel. But before I can use this to pit the cherries, I'm gonna need a bowl and I'm gonna need to wash them. I am going to wash them first and leave the stem on because if you take the stem off and then you wash them, the cherries can actually absorb water like grapes do. And I don't want that. I want the cherry to stay cherry. And then wash, de-stem, and then we'll start de-pitting. I'm going to show you the process a couple of times, but then because I'm going to process a whole bag, I'm going to do all the de-stemming, all the pitting, each step. Stems, take the stems off. Why are we keeping the stems? We're going to dry them and they can be used to make tea. I was thinking I might even use those and make tea and then use my cherry syrup, maybe. So you're gonna put the small end of the cherry. These cherries are so big they almost don't fit. You have to squeeze them in there so that where the stem is up through the hole, and then this you push down, maybe, and the pit goes in there. And look, it even has a little splash guard. That part's nice. And then tray comes out and the cherry goes in the bowl. One of the things I want to make is the cherry liqueur. And I want to make some chocolate cherry preserves. And to make chocolate cherry preserves, you're gonna have to can them to keep them. I'll probably keep one out. But for every 6 cups of cherries, you get 6 pints of chocolate cherry preserves. And I don't know if I don't want to do that today because it's like, with the heat index, it's like 95, 96 degrees. So what I can do and what you can do is pit the cherries, put them in the freezer. If you're gonna put them in chocolate cherry preserves, they're gonna get cooked anyway. You can also can them. I've actually watched a lady and she cans them whole and water baths them. Just put some lemon in there, and I'm like, if I'm gonna go ahead and pit cherries, I might as well put the cherries, and then if I can them whole, I don't have to worry about the pit later. And it ups the amount of pits that I have, because I'm gonna wait until I have all the pits from all the bags before I decide to do the cherry liqueur, because the cherry liqueur is gonna be done with the cherry pits. So again, take the stem off, small end goes in your cherry pitter. You can do this with a knife, but it's a mess. When my cherry pitter broke, I had to. Maybe I should put it in. These are really big. Look, they're just really big. Okay, turn around so that the stem is right there. Try this again. Okay, you gotta get more power up here is what I needed. Comes out. There's a hole in there. And it goes in the dump pile. So, again, if you had kids or help, you could just make a little assembly line train. And I even have some that left out for me to have a snack. So I'm gonna de-stem all of them, de-pit all of them, put them in the bowl, and I'll be back. One bag de-stemmed. There was not one little tiny soft spot right here. I don't even know whether I could call it a blemish. But other than that, this whole bowl, no blemishes. I might just have to eat him just because I don't want to, And all the stems are in here. I will put those, as you know, if you watched the other video, and if you haven't, you need to go back and watch it, last week's, about the cherries and how to do these. Probably gonna use the paper towel method because I don't want to have to chase them around inside. So that one goes over there for me to eat. And so that I don't have to stand here and do this, I'm actually gonna go watch a video and hit these while I'm sitting down. So, but I'll do another one. Small end in first. Oh my gosh. I can't, the cherry's so big I can't get it. Wonderful, I got a brand new cherry pitter and I can't use it. Okay, there we go. Here we go. So I got a metal one because last time I had a plastic one. This was $17, $18 at Crate and Barrel. It's the only place in town that had, it was the closest place to where I live where I could get one. Now, later on, I may order the one, I really want the one that you put 4 or 5 in and just go, and you do 4 or 5 at a time. I think that would be better, but we'll do with what we have for now. So, I guess be back after I pit these. I was gonna think, what am I doing? But if I'm not gonna make chocolate cherry preserves tonight, and I'm not gonna put the pits in to make the liqueur. So I'll be back after they're pitted. Not the cleanest. Ugh. It has a little bit of the fruit stuck on it, which is, it's at the bottom. But this whole bowl is full. They're all pitted. Not something that I think I want to do the other multiple 3 bags that are in the fridge with this. So, the pits will go in a Ziploc, they'll go in the refrigerator. You don't want to leave them out. It is fruit, it is sugar, it'll make bacteria. A lot of these are mostly whole. A couple of them split down the side. Wasn't it clean? I thought this one would be cleaner than the other one, but it's not really. These cherries also are going to go in the freezer, but because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, I'm going to lay them out on a tray and put them in the freezer, let them freeze, then put them in a Ziploc, just like I did the blackberries. So, I'm going to clean up and I'm done for the day. Hello? Hello, are you there? I'm prepping for tomorrow. I'm gonna can. It's gonna be really cool. I may need a sweater. It's supposed to get, the high tomorrow's supposed to be 82 degrees. You know, after 102, could feel kind of chilled. But let me turn this around. I have a pressure canner and a water canner. I think the whole cherries are water canned. I gotta check for the others. I did some measuring for what I had frozen and what would fit in one of these jars. I have enough frozen that I think I can do 12 pints of the chocolate cherry preserves. And I think I have enough that I can do 12 quarts of whole cherries. And at this point, yes, I'm going to leave the seeds in after pitting all the ones that I did. I have a very sore wrist, but those will all have to be cleaned first thing in the morning. And if you're new to canning, There's a difference between a water bath and a pressure cooker. The water bath is like it says, water. It's just water. Sometimes you put it up to the edge of the lid, and sometimes you completely cover it. Tomatoes are also water bath canned. The pressure cooker is just like your Instant Pot, has a lid on it, puts it under pressure. Definitely needed for meats and other things. If somebody's given you jars and they have lids on them, don't reuse those. No, don't reuse those. Get you don't have to get new rings. You don't have to get the new this part, just the flat part, because the sealant around there has already been used. So these are brand new. First thing in the morning, all of these will go in the dishwasher to get sanitized and cleaned. Then when I get ready to can, the rings and the lids will go in. I'll wash them real quick in the sink, and then I'll have them on standby in hot water. So I hope I can accomplish all this. We'll see you tomorrow. Today is canning day. First thing, use canning jars only. Kerr makes a good one, and then there's one that says Ball. They're a nice thick glass. You don't want to put something in here that's gonna break when it gets hot. Wash it. All of my jars that I'm gonna use today are in the dishwasher right now. So they'll be nice and warm and clean when they come out. Clean is really important when you can. And all of these are the rings. I know there's a lid in here somewhere. And these are the lids. Some of these came off of brand new jars. They're still in here. They're still gonna get washed. The brand new pint jars are still in there. So these are gonna get a quick wash. There's warm soapy water in here, and that's all gonna get washed. And after those get clean, I had to fill up my water canner. The video that I saw, the lady did the whole cherries, used a water canner. And these would be for quart jars. I'm gonna have to go look up for the preserves, whether it can be water bathed or whether it needs the pressure cooker. I have both. I should figure out which one. I'm probably gonna go ahead and do the water bath, because they hold quarts, and get that started, and then start working on the chocolate cherry preserves. Probably gonna have to chop up all those cherries that are frozen and add all the stuff. And I think it's just cherries, cocoa, pectin, and sugar, maybe some water. But I'll update you when all the jars come out of the dishwasher. So we have lots going on. The lids, the flat part, are getting heated up. My water in my water bath canner's getting heated up. And this is a light syrup, 4 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar. Or if it's easier to remember the same numbers, it's 4 cups of water and 4 half cups of sugar. That's going to heat up. That's going to be our syrup that we're going to pour over the cherries. And as soon as the jars are done, we are going to pack our whole cherries and get them in the canner. So there was a lot that had to happen really fast. The flat lids were in the hot water over there. They need to be very warm but not boiling. The sugar syrup needs to be hot. Your jars need to be clean and hot. The cherries were in here. I thought I would get 6. I've got 3 quarts and a pint of whole cherries. And so while everything's hot, you gotta work with it while it's hot. Put the cherries in the jar, push them down as far as you can so that they're packed in there. And then the sugar syrup is poured over them. Here's one of these guys to help protect it. But after you fill them, you absolutely want to wipe them off. If there's anything on that between the jar and that lid, it's not gonna seal. And then they have to be put in the water canner. Mine wasn't quite at a boil yet, as you can see, but it will be soon, and then I will start the 25-minute countdown. And they are covered. I must have different jars because this one isn't quite as deep as the others are, but they have to process in boiling water for 25 minutes. There are a lot of things you have to do even before you can. So I'm using the great big one today, and I had to check and make sure that I would have enough water that it would cover the quart jars. And so I gotta get this out of here. So I've just turned the heat on. It could take half an hour, even on high. So I had to put my jar in, measure it. It needs to be covered with 1 to 2 inches of water. This time I'm gonna do what's called a cold pack or raw pack. The cherries are in here, and somewhere I talked about you gotta push them down, and you have to have enough head space, so you also have to have and cover the cherries with liquid. So I think these two are gonna come out because you're gonna want this much head space, and so the water has to come up above that cherry right there, and that still leaves you some head space. So I took, I think 3 bags of cherries. Wash them, like I said, before you take the stems off. And I found only 1 cherry in these 4 bags. So some of them I used yesterday. Still press it down again. You're gonna have to have your liquid to cover wherever the topmost cherry is. And then you're gonna have to have headspace in the jar. Let's see, 4 bags did I use? I think this is 2.5 bags, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 quarts, and I had a little bit left over. Enough. I could have done another pint, but I can fit 7 in here. So I would have had to do 2 pots again. And I wasn't. I'm about cherried out. Although I love them, I'm about cherried out. So let me get my mixture together to cover these. So I'm gonna try and slow things down today. I still have whole cherries to process, but put them in the jar, clean, we de-stemmed them, and then you want to push them down. Get them down as far as you can. And the thing is, you want to be able to cover all of the cherries with your liquid, whether you decide to do water and lemon juice or a light syrup, a heavy syrup, but you still have to have an air space in there. So, and sometimes you can look and you can see like, oh, I could fit one right there, and you just fuss it around and you can put another one in there. So this one actually has a line on it, so you want to go about there, because then you're going to want to put your liquid up to here. Yeah, that one's not gonna stay, but you get the idea. Pick them up, look at them, and they're tight. Yeah, that one's not gonna stay unless I can get. So you can just kind of mush them around and make sure that it gets full. This time I'm gonna do a raw pack. The jars are cold. The cherries are room temperature. I had 2 bags of cherries, and I got 4 quarts, and might be enough to fill up a pint. And I have 2 more bags in there, so I could decide to do fill 8 of them, or I could decide to do some pints. I'm not sure yet. This is my filtered water. I'm just, remember that liquid has to cover the top of your tallest cherry. So, and there's still room at the top. So that's that one. I will do the same with all of these. The video that I watched, the lady actually had a whole screw-on lid, like from Pickles. I've never used those to can before, so we're gonna use these because it is a raw pack. These just need to be dry, clean, and absolutely need to wipe the lid. It has to be clean. If this is not clean, if it has anything in it, it will not seal. And if it doesn't seal, it's gonna spoil inside. So, dry lid, put that on, ring. Now, if we were hot packing, everything would be hot. The jars would be hot. The lids, the top part, are in warm water. Don't boil it, but warm water. The cherries would be warm. No, they don't have to be, but, or the liquid. Okay, if you're doing the cherry preserves, that part needs to be warm before you put it in the jar. If you're doing whole cherries and you're gonna pour a hot liquid over them, you can pour the hot liquid over them. So, got that, and I'm gonna put it in. I have this set up here, and I have the ability to put in 7 of these. And so I'll do the same for every single one of them, all 7 of them, and put that in here. I'm gonna wait till it boils, but I have these all ready. That's the nice part about cold packing, is I can have that all ready to go and wait for my water and just put these in. And when you're hot packing, it's like you have to do it all while it's hot. So I will have 7. Hopefully I have enough lime juice that I will have 7 jars of cherry lime, which, you know, I might take out in the middle of winter and just turn into a cherry lime syrup. Make cherry limeades. I don't know. The cherries with the hot sugar syrup definitely have more of a very sweet cherry pie filling taste. But anyway, that's the difference between a hot pack and a cold pack. And I'm gonna finish these up so I can get this video up today. I decided to do it even more simply because I didn't want the jar sitting in the water just getting warm from the bottom. Just that kind of differential just didn't settle well with me, and you don't want to do anything to help bacteria grow. So all of these lids were dry. They're all on. This one in the middle had to have lemon juice, so I'll mark that one when it comes out. And we're just waiting on the water.